It's amazing. Bet you didn't think you could do this at home. You can. In less than 10 minutes. Hey friends, this is Angela from Art of Creation Homestead. You're in the kitchen with me again for another Homestead kitchen skills. This one is one that I'm super excited about because most people do not realize that they can do this themselves. Today, I am going to show you how to make homemade peanut butter. Yes, you can make peanut butter at home. Actually pretty easy if you have the right equipment. But that's the key. You have to have the right equipment. During the time of food shortages and you couldn't find peanut butter on the shelves, that was a pretty tragic thing for someone like me. Because I've loved peanut butter since I was a little girl. But I didn't fret. I made my own. It's super easy. You will never imagine how easy this actually is. But one of the keys is that you have to have the right equipment. You have to either have a very powerful blender or a very powerful food processor. You can try it with a cheap blender or a cheap food processor, but the truth is it may burn the motor out pretty quickly. That's one thing that I discovered through all of this with the food shortages and everything, is that it is very important to also not only have your pantry stocked, but to be stocked up with the right equipment to do this stuff. Yes, you may have to spend a little extra to get a good blender or a good food processor. But I can tell you from experience, it's worth its weight in gold. But when food is a scarcity, and you may not be able to find peanut butter, but you can find peanuts. You may not be able to find this thing, but you can find this thing. Those pieces of equipment that are normally considered very pricey and very expensive and not worth it, become very worth it. So I would encourage you to also stock up on those pieces of equipment as well. So today I'm going to make the peanut butter in my food processor. To me, it just works a little better. Larger surface area and just works a little better. You guys have seen my food processor before. I've put up a link for it. It's went up significantly in price since I bought mine, but it is an amazing food processor and it is worth every penny. So all you need for this recipe is truthfully just one thing, but later we will discuss another thing. Truthfully, all you need is this. This is a 1 pound jar, a 16-ounce jar of dry roasted salted peanuts. Just the plain old cheap stuff that you buy in the store. That's all it is. So come over here to my food processor with me and I'll show you how to do this. So now I just want to, it's just this simple, really. It really is just this simple. You open up your food processor with your blade attachment and you pour in your peanuts. It's that simple. Now this is the part why you need a powerful one. Because the more powerful your food processor, the quicker you're going to get this done. So what you want to do right now, you just hit the on button and turn it on. And it's going to start grinding the peanuts. In a powerful food processor like this, or a powerful blender, in about a minute to 2 minutes, you're going to start seeing it come together like this. It's a coarse paste, essentially. And you could use that as a peanut butter. It would be good. But it's not the smooth, creamy stuff that you can buy in the store. So let's work on making that smooth, creamy stuff you can buy in the store. So we're going to turn it back on. And shortly after that, it's going to all clump up in a ball. And it's going to start to look like a peanut butter dough. You want to go take it even farther. And now, about 1.5 to 2 minutes later, that big ball of what looked to be a peanut butter dough is now starting to get smooth. But it's still not smooth enough. And also, if you touch it, it's starting to get hot. It's starting to feel warm. It's starting to feel nice and warm. Because these peanuts are getting all hot in there. See, that's part of the reason you want a more powerful blender or food processor, because it can take that, where a cheap one can't take that. It's going to hurt it. So now we want to make it even creamier. Okay, at this point, you can see it's starting to get nice and creamy. But you want to make sure everything's incorporated and you're not leaving any chunks of peanut or anything like that. So you want to scrape down everything. Get everything down in there. Make sure you get everything down in there. And at this point, you want to start checking the consistency. It's almost there, people. In just a matter of minutes. In just a matter of minutes, you've almost got delicious, beautiful peanut butter. Because we're almost there. Because it is starting to get smooth and creamy. Now you have a choice to make. Do you want it to be unsweetened peanut butter? I will tell you, most of the peanut butter you buy in the store does have a sweetener in it. Most of the time it's corn syrup. Most of the time it's not very good for you. With this peanut butter, we are going to add a little bit of sweetness. This is up to you. You can totally get it to the smoothness you like and stop it there. And just have natural, unsweetened peanut butter. Or you could add a sweetener. I like mine mildly sweet, but I like mine sweet naturally. So you have a choice at this point. You can sweeten it with sugar, which is okay. Which, by the way, this is very, very warm. It gets very warm. Those peanuts make it very warm. It almost starts to steam up in here. It gets so warm it almost starts to steam up. But you can sweeten it with sugar, or you can go with maple syrup. And maple, if you haven't tasted them together, maple and peanut butter are amazing together. Or you can sweeten it with honey. As a kid, and even to this day, I love peanut butter and honey sandwiches. To me, peanut butter and honey are a match made in heaven. So today, that's how I'm going to sweeten this peanut butter, is with some honey. You don't need much if you want mildly sweet. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons to start out, and then we'll taste it and see if it's sweet enough. If not, we'll add a little more. And there we go. That should be about 2 tablespoons right there. Roughly measured. Okay, now we're going to turn it back on. Because you added that honey, you're going to see it start going back into that almost like dough phase. And then it will start to smooth back out again. Now, you're starting to see some smoke come from it. It's not, your machine isn't overheating. It's just your peanuts is getting nice and warm. Just from the agitation of it. It's going to happen. Don't get afraid and think you're going to catch your kitchen on fire. You're not going to. Now, you want to try it. See if it's sweet enough. See if it's smooth enough. And that is unbelievably delicious. But I'm going to add just a little bit more. I'm going to add just a little bit more honey. You can add anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons of honey. I'm adding about 2.5 to 3, roughly measured. Now we're going to turn it back on. It's still a little grainy for me, so I'm going to let it go just a little bit more till it's a little bit smoother. Now we are going to open it up because I think it may be ready. Look at this. If you can knock the steam out of the way. Look at this. beautiful, creamy, homemade peanut butter. See, it's so silky and so creamy right now. It's sweetened perfectly for me right there. If you want a little sweeter, add more honey. Or whatever you're choosing to sweeten it with. The way I test it to see if it's creamy enough is I take my finger or a knife and I just spread it on my spatula. And if it spreads easily, then you know it's creamy enough. And this is super creamy. It's so creamy, it's almost fluffy. It's amazing. Bet you didn't think you could do this at home. You can. In less than 10 minutes. It's ridiculously easy to make your own peanut butter and know what's in it. Because you could even control the amount of salt. Just don't get the salted peanuts. Get unsalted peanuts. And then you control how much salt goes in it as well. It's all up to you. It's all up to your liking. So now I'll show you how to store it. We've removed the peanut butter from your food processor. Took out the blade. Be very careful taking out those blades. They're extremely sharp. Now look at this. Look how creamy. Look how creamy and delicious that is. Look at that. Did you ever think you could make peanut butter like this yourself? See, look. It's so creamy. It's thick, but yet see, it will fall off your spoon. It's, like I said, it's almost fluffy. It's so perfectly sweetened with that honey. But you can sweeten it just as well with maple syrup. If you like crunchy peanut butter, I meant to tell you this. If you like crunchy peanut butter, just don't take it to the smooth state. Leave it a little crunchy. But this is so smooth and glorious. So what we have here, we have just a regular pint mason jar. You can, if you don't have any mason jars, you can just use an airtight storage container. That's all you really need. So now we're gonna load our peanut butter. We're gonna load our peanut butter up into our jar. Now this, I will tell you, this is a natural peanut butter. So it is not going to be a shelf-stable peanut butter because it doesn't have all those nasty preservatives and all that junk in it. So it is not going to be a shelf-stable peanut butter. It's going to be one of those, like you buy the natural peanut butters in the store that require refrigeration after opening. Well, this one has never been sealed down. So it's going to require refrigeration right now. And see, as you can see, I've got a pint of peanut butter. Now, as it sits, your oils very well could separate. You may have to go in and stir it every time you use it. And as you can tell by the way I'm talking, I can't stay out of it. I can't help it. I am a peanut butter lover. Now this peanut butter is ready to be used on sandwiches. Put in any recipe you want. Or on graham crackers, which is one of my favorite ways to eat peanut butter. Or on toast. For those of you who have never had peanut butter toast, you are missing out, my friend. This beautiful homemade peanut butter will store beautifully in your refrigerator for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. But I promise you it's not going to last that long. But if you don't think you're going to use this much in that time, throw it in the freezer. In the freezer, this homemade peanut butter will stay good for 6 months or more. And now you know. You don't have to buy that stuff in the store. Just buy some peanuts. And a good blender or a good food processor. And you can have your own homemade peanut butter. Just like with any natural peanut butter, after you've stored it in the refrigerator, those peanut oils are going to start to tighten up. So you're going to have kind of a consistency like this. It's still soft. It's still scoopable. See? You can still spread it on your bread. But if you want it to go back to that super spreadable consistency like you had when it first came out of the food processor, all you have to do is sit it out of the refrigerator before you're going to use it for about a half an hour, and it will loosen up. If you don't have that amount of time, if you're just trying to get together a quick lunch for your kids, zap this in the microwave for just a few seconds, stir it around really good, and it'll be ready to go. We thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it more than you guys ever know. We love you guys so much. God bless, and have an absolutely amazing day.